But before I see where we are, I like to look back how really that time, why I do what I do now is because of the passion of being a refugee, or what these people go through. It is not easy because I was there. I know what it is. I know to go without food. I know to be discriminated. I know how people sometimes how they look at you. You would like to do things, you are limited. I like to give my best, but encourage me also. My name is David Nathan Maganda from Uganda. I'm one of the volunteers in All Nation Ministry. All Nation Ministry, we come from different churches, different countries, and different backgrounds. We put together our hand to give back to the community, working and serving with the refugees, asylum seeker, immigrant, but also the aims integrating, enabling these new arrivals to integrate with the local people, the Irish people. Originally from Uganda, that's where I was born, from a big family. We're a family of 18 brothers and sisters, and at that time, ourselves is very difficult to know our age, if you ask me my age, but I was born in the banana season. So that is how in Africa it is, especially in the village I come from, Iblanco.
And what was your childhood like?
The childhood really, it was 50-50. It was amazing, it was a blessing, but it was a challenge in many ways, because as growing up, I grew up when my father died. So my mother was raising us up. It was not easy for her to raise all of us. And then, because when I say 18, it's not all from my mother, because my father had 3 wives. So to my mother, we are 9. So with that, it hasn't been easy. So I had to leave, when I was in primary school, I had to leave our village to go and stay with my sister in another village. The challenge at that age, when we were still young, moving school to school was not easy, and leaving the family, the comfort, because we had a lot of fun with brothers and sisters. But the challenge was how to keep the relationship together, because when I left the house, the family home, the fellowship there was not like where I grew up like. So to keep surviving, we had to look for a job. I looked for a houseboy. I got a job with my brother, got for me a job like a houseboy. That one, so that I can be able to earn some money for my school fees. And that is also the challenge in that one.
And what hopes and dreams did you have as a young boy? Like, what did you want to do with your life at that point?
Working as a houseboy with the army people. So these officers, one of the officers whom I was working for, was a very gentleman, very smart, very kind. So I said to myself, if I grow up, I like to be in the army. I like to be officer. And also his job was a padre. He was a reverend, he was a pastor. So I said, I like also to be what he is. But also he was a teacher. He was teaching people. So I admire his life, his ambition, his career. So those are the 3 things in my life also. I wanted to be a teacher, but not just a security teacher, but in the army. To be an army, but not just an army, but to be an officer, and also to be a priest, to be a pastor, to be a minister. And those are the dreams which I had.
So then, after you were a houseboy, what happened next in your life?
Then after that, I continued to do the houseboy. Then they gave me another job because they enabled me to learn how to drive. Also inside me, I wanted still to be able to go back to school. So I was working and driving for the people in the army. driving their car. And then later on, it happened that the war broke in Uganda. So many of these people whom I was working for at that time, the majority of the officers in the army, in the police, were come from Sudan. So there were many who came as refugees in Uganda, but they turned to be citizens, residents. So they were able to be in different jobs in Uganda. They were having two homes, one in Uganda, one in their country. So when the trouble came in 1979, that these soldiers, now they like to take back their families to Sudan, because that time Sudan was in peaceful country. Because I knew how to drive. So this man whom I was working for, on the other hand, he had the car. He wanted me to take to Sudan. Because during that time when the war broke off, it was chaos, as if there was no law at that time. But then, in the meantime, the soldier had the authority. The soldier had everything. So I was given one car to drive. We were a convoy. There were others who following each other. So we aimed to go to Sudan to take some of the properties of this officer and his family. We aimed to be there for 3 days and come back. When we arrived there in Sudan, in southern Sudan, that is in Juba, amazing. The first night we were there, and the second day we're supposed to be downloading things from the truck, from the car, so that we can be able to get ready for the following day to come back to Uganda. And what happened was, the man who I came with, whom I brought his car, he liked a bottle. That evening he was driving with one of the police officers in Sudan, so he knocked somebody, and that person died at the spot. When that person died at the spot, in Africa, in Uganda especially, you who have died, you're a victim, because no one speaks on your behalf. So the victim became a victim, and they said this man is the one who caused his own death. Instead the man to be arrested, this who was driving, because he was a bit with alcohol influence, he was taken to the hospital. He was there for 2 weeks. Back in Uganda, the war became very serious. And then we heard that they have overthrown the government. So what happened? We were unable to go back to Uganda. And then this man whom I was with, he had no home. So when we went, he put his family to his brother. Being in Juba at that time, it was very difficult. It was not easy. Then many people, because many people crossed the border coming as refugees from different parts of Uganda coming to Sudan. So I end up registering myself as a refugee. Because this man had no home, it was very difficult to be able. But the challenge was, when I went to register to UN, United Nations for Refugees, the guy who was registering, he asked me where I do come from Uganda. I told him I come from southeast of Uganda, Jinja. He said, how come that you could come across? No. He didn't give me the ID. He didn't recognize me. He didn't register me. I was not registered for the UN card. So again, the situation for me, it was a bit higher than others who got the ID. What I did next, the brother said that maybe we can go in the village. They took me in a far remote village. Some of you who know the place called Loka, that is in southern Sudan. When I was in Loka, things were very, very, very tough. That time, the famine was very heavy. The heat, the sun, the drought, it was very difficult in many ways. Eating was very difficult. You eat early in the morning, you have a cup of tea. And maybe if you are lucky, you have a small donut. Then the whole day you will not. You may have very late night. maybe a little bit of a piece of cassava. It was very difficult. Then I said, what am I doing here? Why life is difficult like this? I'm so energetic, I'm not sick. I wanted to use every opportunity, A, to survive, B, to get a little bit of income. Because the only thing, but nothing really came out. Every day it was a very struggle. Every day was a very struggle. The family whom I was staying with, they're struggling. Myself, I was struggling. Really, I wished I could be able to go home, but nothing. And my people, they could not know where I was. But that's another story. And one of the things I could remember, before we came to the village, I was connected with the church, that is Juba, All Saints Cathedral. The minister there, he was a very good man, became a good friend of mine. Before I left, I started to go for a confirmation class. As I started, I didn't finish it, then we went where? In the village. Then this minister asked, where is David? He was told that he's way far in the village, in Loka. Please call him. I'd like him to come and finish his study here for confirmation. I tell you, when they informed me in the evening that the pastor is calling you, waiting for you to go for confirmation, to go to Juba. What a joy. I could not wait. The following morning, I waked up, I waited for the bus. If there's no bus, you wait for the truck, big truck, and you just jump on it. You see, when you travel, that is traveling in Sudan, in that time, in southern Sudan. That's another story. However, I arrived in Juba back, and I reported to the minister, to the pastor, to the reverend, who was responsible for our classes. And he said, you are welcome. There was a small house there, a house of mud house. He said that you can stay in that one. Really, I was so delighted. Though it was not, even you are in like this, you see outside, because full of cracks everywhere, everything there. But the roof was very good, but the walls, anytime can break. So I was in that house. I continue with my confirmation class. This one, I came heavily involved with the church. I was at the church compound. Really, this family embraced me, brought me to themselves, and I had a new life there. And then I could start now to work. I helped the church. Then they got for me a small job in one of the organizations called Across. There I did three things in one. I was an office messenger, I was a cleaner, and also I was a gardener. So I would wake up around 4, I go to dig, to make the flowers, make the garden very well. After that, I'd come and wash myself, I'd beat the feet, then I can clean the office properly before the officers come to take their jobs. And during the day, I was a messenger, cycling, taking the letters here to this and that. You know, when you see this broad head, it's because really, for 2 years, I was on the bicycle in the heat, cycling, taking these letters there. But then I work in the morning, because in southern Sudan, because of the heat, people work, official work start from in the morning up to 2 o'clock. In the evening, there's no job, people go home because it's hot. So instead of me to go home, I decided to go to evening class, where I rode myself to high school.
And had you wanted to go back to Uganda, or were you able to reach out to your family at this point? Or
now, for almost 10 years, 9 to 10 years, my family never heard where I was, never knew where I was. They thought I was dead. Everything was stuck inside me. I didn't hear anything of how my family is doing back home. Being in Sudan, it was very hard. Yes, I could wish I could go home, but I didn't have anything. No money, nothing. And with that one, I just only one thing. I said, God, you help me. And when I was with OM, I came now in a healthy relationship with God, where I invited Jesus into my heart as my personal savior. I went to my knee in our room. I say, I'd like you to come in my heart as my personal savior. For the first time, though I was so active in the church, I was doing many things, but really inside me, I was miserable, I was bitter. But after that, I pray that God, I need you to send Jesus. I like to be born again. I like to come in my life. I asked him. Then I thought that my life would change. But the following morning, I told a few friends that, I accepted Jesus Christ. Oh, well done. But inside me, I was empty. And then we went to another meeting. They said, who would like to receive Jesus Christ? I raised up my hand. All the evangelists will be happy to one person will just ask for Jesus. But 3 times, when I got to a different meeting, the same thing. Then one friend said, come, David, how many times do you invite Jesus in your heart? So, but these people asking, who like Jesus? I like him. They said, no, there's something wrong there. When you invite Jesus, he comes once and for all. But the problem is, you are not giving him the chance to be the king in your heart. You get him at the edge of your heart. So it's not seated comfortable. So what do? Say, ask him to sit to be your king. Ask him that you will sense his divine presence every day. Ask him that you will be his friend. Really? Then I say, I try. Really, when I changed my prayer life changed. My study of the scripture changed. And my understanding of God changed. Because other things, I was all in public. But in private, I could be somebody else. But that's the beginning. That God is everywhere. God knows everything. God has power. Then as I invited Jesus, I'm not saying that I'm perfect. But just I like to be honest. That the Lord is with me, is guiding me now. This opportunity, I received it in Sudan. In northern Sudan. With the team OM. When I was with OM, we were very busy working, engaging here and there. Then I had the thought of how I can be able, again, the ambition to keep on going for studies, to become a minister. Though I missed to be a soldier, because at that time, when I wanted to be a soldier, I was not chosen. But I realized that maybe because of my height, because they needed to be big, tall, strong men and women who can be able to join in. So I said, I leave it. So with that one, I still have that ambition of studying, and OM gave me a chance of offering me a scholarship to come to study in UK. I'm very thankful to OM giving me such opportunity to come out of Sudan to come and study. And then that is now the first opportunity after Sudan to come to Europe. When I was in the college, then I was longing now to go march to Uganda. It gave me a heavy burden that I have to go back to the village, to see my parents, to be able to look back to my childhood, to see where I come from, to see how I can identify with it. After a long time, then I say, but I don't have money. I asked my friend that really, join me in prayer. I like to go back to see my family. The first person who gave me money is a friend I know. He was just like joking. He gave me 50p, no, not 50, it's a pence, 50 pence. He gave me that this for you, for your ticket. I received it with an open heart. I said, thank you very much. When he gave to me, I prayed for it. God multiply this in Jesus' name. And then I put it in my pocket. And you see, really, as I was praying, people now, they knew that really I'm in need of going to Uganda. Time to time I'll get envelope, 10 pound, 5 pound, 20 pound. In the short period, I got more than enough to buy a ticket to go to Uganda. Arriving in Uganda, at the airport, that is Entebbe airport, wow, I had a little bit of a luggage. Then I reached in the village in the evening, maybe around 8, 9. by night. I knocked. When I knocked, my little sister called Ruthie, she came and opened the door. When she opened, she just closed it. So and they were having their supper. She could not believe I was the one. She ran quickly. She told my mom that David is here. Mama said, "Go away. My son is already dead, and we are bringing different memories." But she said, "No, he's here." Then she came with a small candle. She met me at the door, standing there. She screamed, she yelled, she amazing. She could not understand what was going on. The life of the village is different. Because the village, by night, everything's quiet, silent. But now the noise is coming. What happened? I didn't tell them I'm coming. But it was a question, what happened? People are coming to hear, to see what is happening to this family. Why this woman shouting by night? And they came, I tell you, the entire village almost came that night to see me. They brought it, some lamps. I sat outside there, and people singing, dancing, and really they could not believe what it is. Now, the story comes more easily now. When the people came, they wanted me to speak something. Say something now. I said, okay, keep quiet. They kept quiet. Amazingly, I could not be able to express in my own language. It was a shame to me, because instead to talk to my people with the Rusoga, I know very well, but it is here in my brain, but it cannot come smoothly with freedom through my lips. Then I said, what am I to do? Really, I struggled a lot. I had a teacher, a friend of ours called Maganda, is already now gone to be with the Lord. He knew my struggle. He said, don't worry, I'll translate for you. Then I explained to them from A to Z, the journey, my life, how it was, and everybody just nodded. They could not believe, but they just thanked God. People started to cry because of the joy and the tears coming in. Really, that was another thing to tell you. I wrapped around 8, 9, but going to bed was around 3 a.m. Then everybody went. But those 3 weeks, every day, people will come at home to hear the story, to hear the miracle, to hear the mystery of never been happened in the village. And that, it gave many people hope that if their children, maybe they got lost for some time, they may come. They may be alive whenever they are. 9 to 10 years almost. They never knew where I was. And here I am, telling them the story. Really, that was amazing. It gave me a sense of belonging. On that day, when I went back to Uganda, that visit, and the day I talked to my mom, I told her that there is a young lady from Bungereza. We have already engaged with each other. We like to get married. What is your opinion? Now introducing Julian in her absence, but in their presence. And my mother said, does she love the Lord? I said, yes, she has no problem. That we welcome her. After we finished the college, we got married at that time with my wife, Julian, and then there we came to Northern Ireland. We got married here in Northern Ireland. After that, we went to Uganda, we went to Sudan, and then we come back. We got blessed us with the beautiful children. 3 children. We have 3 children. We have Esther. Esther was born in Sudan, and then Beth was born here. We came back here to Northern Ireland, and Nathan. So we are very thankful to that. But before I see where we are, I like to look back how really that time, why I do what I do now is because of the passion of being a refugee, what these people go through. It is not easy because I was there. I know what it is. I know to go without food. I know to be discriminated. I know how people sometimes how they look at you. You would like to do things, you are limited. And I like to encourage maybe the refugees or asylum seeker. If there's somebody embracing you, really, take the opportunity. Appreciate what he's doing. And think that really God is working in many ways. And also to get familiar with the people, to be a part of the community. Because we have no family here. Yes, you may have your wife, your children, but really what we need is to see integration. We need to be a part of this community because God brought us now here. When I was in Sudan, I became a part of the community. And that's how I was able now to get friends far and wide that I can be able to be here where I am now. And the last year, what I learned about myself, really many things. Sometimes it's not easy to learn about yourself. I'm learning how again to come to my senses of belonging to my family, to know that really I have to value my family, to value my wife, to value the children. My hope and dream at the moment is really I would love to continue to work with the Lord, but also as a part of the volunteer, we like to see that really we'll work together, united. We stand, divided we fall. Because everybody here is a part of us. That really we integrate easily. Though it's not easy for African man to integrate in a different culture. We're trying to integrate slowly but slowly, and I'm seeing the acceptance of some of the local people accepting me as I am, which sometimes back it was not easy. And this gives us joy, especially myself. When I live in harmony with you, really, it is my day. You make my day. So I thank God for those who God is bringing on my way, whom we are working together, the support, the smile, the encouragement. Amazing. And let us keep on. Really, I like to give my best, but encourage me also.